ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Right. Hello, good morning all. Today we are going to study basic concepts in chemistry. This is for intermediate first year. So, welcome. Starting with matter. What is matter? Matter is anything that has mass and occupy space or volume. Matter is anything that has mass and occupy space. For example, let us take this duster. Let us take this marker. Now, if I place this marker in my hand, it is occupying this much volume, this much space. Similarly, if I place the duster, it occupies this much volume or this much space. It possesses definite mass. So, I can call this duster as matter, this marker as matter. We are inhaling air, air is present, air is around us. Even air can be considered as matter. Air occupies some volume. For example, take a balloon, blow some air. It will occupy some volume. So, anything that has mass and occupy some space, we call it as matter. It can be a duster, it can be a marker, it can be a book, it can be bench, it can be water in a bottle, or it can be even gas such as air. So, all these are matters. In simple words, we are surrounded by matters. We are surrounded by matter. So, anything that has mass and occupies volume, we call it as matter. Matter, it can be classified in different ways depending upon the nature. For example, based upon the physical state, we call it as physical classification, based upon the physical state. So, what is the meaning of physical state? Physical nature, it is nothing but physical nature. For example, based upon the physical nature, matter can be classified into solid, liquid, gas. For example, if I take this marker, it is a solid. If I take water, it is liquid. If I take air, it is gas. All these are matters because they have certain mass, well defined mass, and they occupy certain volume. So, based upon the physical state, physical nature, matter can be solid, matter can be liquid, matter can be gas. Based upon chemical nature, right, say chemical classification. We can call it as, first one as mixture, the other one is pure substance. So, let us see one example. Mixture. Suppose I take some water, I add some sand. Sand I have added some sand to water. Here we have two compounds, one is water and other is sand. So a mixture is generally union or it is formed, it is obtained by combination of two different compounds, by combination of two or more compounds. Coming to pure substance, as it indicates, it is made up of only one kind of substance. For example, if I say pure water means it is 100% water only. There is no other substance present in it, right? But here, if I come back to the mixture, I am mixing two different substances. One is sand and water. I can call this as a mixture. So, but if I talk about pure substance, it contains only one kind of element or one kind of molecule only. For example, 100% water, it is made up of only H2O molecules. If I take a gold bar, it is made up of only gold atoms. So there are no other impurities. Here you can consider this as impurity. Simply mixture means two or more compounds, or a pure compound plus impurity. Pure substance 100% containing only one kind of molecule or one kind of element or one kind of atoms. We will come back to this again. Mixture can be further classified into homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture. Similarly, pure substance can be classified compound, element. Let us see the difference. So once again, matter can be classified into physical based upon the nature, physical classification, chemical classification. Chemically, how they are different. Chemical classification again further classified into mixture and pure substance. Pure substance is again classified into compound and element. So first let us start with the compound and element. What is an element? Element is a pure substance. I repeat, element is a pure substance which cannot be further divided or decomposed into smaller or simpler substance by chemical method. So what is the meaning of that? Suppose if I take a gold bar, a gold bar is made up of gold atoms. So all the atoms present here, they are of only one kind of element, atom. So they contains only gold atoms. So if I try to break it, you will get only gold atom. The smallest particle that you can get is a gold atom. You will not get a different kind of other atoms. So such type of pure substance we call it as element. Element is a pure substance which cannot be further subdivided or decomposed into simpler substance, into other simpler substance by chemical methods. Example, a gold bar. Example, carbon. Take some coal, it contains, if I take pure carbon, it is made up of only carbon atoms. If I take diamond, it is also made up of only carbon atoms. Coming to compound. A compound is a pure substance made up of only one kind of molecules. Suppose if I say water. Water is nothing but it contains H2O molecules. So if I say 100% pure water, it contains 100% only water molecules. If I say 100% pure gold, that means it contains only gold atoms. So the basic difference is a compound contains the smallest particle is molecule. Here it can be atoms. So what is the another difference? If I take water molecule, I can break it into simpler atoms, simpler and different atoms. For example, H2O. Upon breaking, I can get H2O and half O2. I have taken one water molecule by some chemical method, right? Imagine that I have cleaved the bonds and converted into H2 and O2, or H2 and O2 combined to form H2. So there are two different atoms, one is hydrogen and other is oxygen. So that means two or more atoms combine chemically to form a molecule. The association of such molecule will result in the formation of compound. If the compound contains 100% of only those molecules, then we call it as a pure compound. Element, it is made up of atoms. Element cannot be subdivided into other simpler substance or atoms by chemical methods. If I take a gold bar and if I break it, you will get only gold atoms. So gold atoms, if you cannot further divide it by any chemical method. So element is a pure substance which cannot be decomposed into simpler substance by chemical methods. So pure substance, it is a substance which contains 100% only one kind of molecules or either only one kind of atoms. Mixture, it is at least contains two substance. At least contains two substance. For example, if I take water and add sand. Let us take another example. Water and salt or sugar, let us say sugar molecules. So add some sand to water, stir it properly. Add some sugar to water, stir it properly. I am taking saturated solution. What difference do you notice? First point, we are adding two different compounds. One is sugar, one compound, water, another compound. Therefore, it is a mixture. I am taking sand, adding to water. That means I am taking two substances. One is sand, that is made up of silica, and water, H2O. So it is a mixture. When I dissolve sugar in water, sufficient amount, small amount, the sugar will dissolve in water. You cannot see sugar molecules with your naked eye. When I dissolve sand, when I add sand to water, the sand will not dissolve in water, it will settle at the bottom. So what difference do you notice? Here it contains only liquid because sugar is dissolving. Sugar is dissolving. You will get only pure, it appears to be transparent liquid like water only. But it contains how many substances? Two substances. So there is a single phase, there is only liquid phase. Here I have liquid phase. At the bottom you can see sand particles. That means this is solid phase, this is liquid phase. So you have two different phases. You have different phase. Phase is nothing but physical state. Solid, liquid, gas. We will study in detail later. So here, after adding sugar, if it dissolves completely, let us say unsaturated solution, you will get only single phase, that is nothing but liquid phase or solution phase. Here we will have two different phases. One is solid phase, that is nothing but sand particles, and other is liquid. So what is the difference? A homogeneous solution has single phase, only one phase. Although it contains two substances, it must have single phase. Next, it must have uniform concentration throughout. It must have uniform concentration throughout. What is the meaning of uniform concentration? Let us imagine that I have taken a sample from the surface. I have taken a sample from the surface. Say, let us call this as sample 1. Another sample from the bulk in between. Another sample from the bottom. Another sample from the bottom. Keep in mind, I have taken a saturated solution, not unsaturated solution. If I have collected a sample from the surface, from the bulk, from the bottom, if I taste it, the taste will be same. That means the concentration is same. Number of sugar molecules per unit volume here, number of sugar molecules per unit volume here, number of sugar molecules per unit volume here must be same. If it happens, then I can call it as the solution has a uniform concentration. A homogeneous solution has uniform concentration throughout the solution. Now coming to this, if I take a sample here, here and here, the sand particles that are present per unit volume will be different. If you are confused with this, take some lime, calcium carbonate, add to water, right? Take some calcium carbonate, add to water, stir it properly. On the surface it appears to be slightly transparent, right? Not completely clear transparent. At the bulk it is more milkier. At the bottom you can see more solid. No solid, bulky clear white precipitate, you can see a clear solution. Here it is clear solution. Here you will have a turbidity. Here you will have solid also. That means the number of calcium carbonate molecules per unit volume will not be same throughout the solution. So here you will have less number of calcium carbonate, here you will have more, here you have more and more calcium carbonate, because it will not dissolve uniformly, it is not completely miscible. So here I have liquid phase as well as solid phase coexisting, therefore there are two different phases, one is solid phase, another is liquid phase, and the concentration is not uniform. So non-uniform concentration, non-uniform concentration. So that is a basic difference between a homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture, right? Once again, mixture, two or more compounds, if you combine you will get a mixture. It can be homogeneous if it has a single phase and uniform concentration throughout, right? How do you check whether it has uniform concentration? Taste is one way of finding, or finding other physical properties. It can be refractive indices, or it can be thermal conductivity or ionic conductivity. There are different physical properties which you can measure to understand, to find the whether the solution has uniform concentration or not, right? Heterogeneous also two or more compounds, but it has two different phases, two or more phases, and non-uniform concentration. So the basic difference between mixture and pure substance: mixture at least has two or more compounds. Pure substance, it contains either one type of molecule or one type of atoms. So this is the basic classification of matter, right? So here, as we studied, water upon decomposition gives two different atoms, substances that are made up of pure elements. So a compound can be converted into elements. A compound can be converted into those elements by chemical method, chemical or physical methods. Here also a mixture can be converted into pure substance. How? For example, if I take sand and water, can I separate sand and water? Yes. How? By filtration. Take a kerchief like this, take a container, place a filter paper here, pour the sand water. What happens? Water will be collected here, pure water, and sand particles are present here. So water is a pure substance. So I got water here, I got sand here. So I have separated, I can convert a mixture into pure substance either by physical methods or chemical methods. Filtration is a physical method, normal simple filtration, right? Like what we do while preparing the tea, we filter it before drinking. We try to separate the solid particles from the tea. In a similar way, I can convert a mixture into pure substance by either physical methods or chemical methods. So just now we have studied the smallest particle of a compound is molecule. The smallest particle of an element is atom. Two or more atoms combine to form molecule. I repeat, if I take compound, so the smallest particle is say molecule. If I take element, it is atom. If I take example here water, it contains hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen. So they are also again H2 is a molecule. So if I write, it is made up of combination of two hydrogen atoms. Oxygen also same thing, combination of two oxygen atoms. That means two or more atoms combine to form a molecule. These molecules chemically combine to form a compound, or it can be made up of a single molecule also. Correct. Now here we have ended up with atom. We have ended up with atom. Whether you take compound, the smallest particle substance is molecule. If I take element, the smallest particle is atom. Even molecule is also made up of atom. Now the question is, what is the structure of atom? Different scientists have proposed, they try to explain the internal structure of atom. So before the advance in studies, either you can take physics or chemistry, particularly physics, Dalton was considered as the first theory to explain about atom. So let us first start with Dalton's atomic theory. What we are going to study is the details about atom and internal structure of atoms. And the first theory which got some importance is Dalton's atomic theory. So why we are studying Dalton's atomic theory? Because matter is made up of atoms. So we have to know about atom, its properties, internal structure of atoms, and what else are present in the atom. One such attempt, one such kind of attempt is made by Dalton. Let us see what Dalton has proposed to explain the characteristics of atom. According to Dalton, everything is made up of very fine particles. Everything means every matter, very fine particles. These very fine particles, he called them as atoms. According to Dalton, everything, every matter is composed of very fine particles, which he called them as atoms. So take anything, any matter, it is finally the smallest individual particle according to Dalton is atom. So if you take atom, according to him, it is indestructible. That means if I have atom, you cannot see atom because it is very, very small. That is why we call it as very fine particles. You cannot see atom with your naked eye. So atoms, according to him, are indestructible. What is the meaning of indestructible? You cannot create atom. You cannot destroy atom. In a simple language, you cannot create, you can neither create, you can not destroy atom. So the second point is it is indestructible, or so you can neither create nor destroy atom. If I take atoms of same element, for example, let us take gold. Gold is the element. So if I take gold atom from a shop, from another shop, I have taken two gold atoms. According to him, atoms of same element must have same properties and same weights. So these two gold atoms must have same properties and equal weights. Let us write. This is his observation. Atoms of same elements have same properties as well as equal weights. The fourth one, atoms of different elements suppose I can take carbon atom, alright, say silicon, or for that let us take oxygen. So carbon is different, oxygen is different. Say carbon graphite, carbon diamond, carbon black, anything like that. It is made up of carbon atoms. Oxygen is made up of oxygen atoms. There are two different elements, carbon and oxygen. Right? They must have different properties. And different weights. I am trying to highlight the differences. So according to him, atoms of same elements must have same properties, equal weights. Atoms of different elements must have different properties and different weights. And the another important point is, atoms combine chemically in simple numerical ratio to form or to undergo a chemical change. Say H2 and O2, 1 mole, half mole. So in simple mass ratio they combine, right? Chemically they combine to form a substance. Alright. Simple mass ratio means here I am taking H2, that means 2 grams. O2 32, half mole, right? So you will get 16 grams in simple mass ratio. So chemical combination takes place between atoms to form a substance in simple numerical ratio or mass ratio. Or let us take carbon dioxide, carbon 12, oxygen 32. So they combine in 12:32 mass ratio to form a substance or molecule. So these are the points. Let us recollect. Dalton tried to explain about the characteristics of atom. According to him, every substance, every matter is made up of very fine particles. The meaning of very fine means you cannot see with your naked eye. He called these very fine particles as atoms. According to him, atoms are indestructible. That means atom is the smallest particle that exists. You cannot destroy it, you cannot create it. So there is no other particles smaller than atom. Atoms of same elements must have same properties and equal weights. Atoms of different elements must have different properties and different weights. He couldn't explain the reason why they have same properties and equal weights, why they will have sometimes different properties and different weights. He couldn't explain. So this is another point where they chemically combine in weight ratio to form a compound. So at that time when he proposed, there were some experiments which are in support of Dalton's theory. There are some experiments. So in science you require proof. So what are those experiments? One is Gay-Lussac's law. Of combining volumes of gases, which we will study in states of matter. Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes of gases. The second one is Avogadro's law. This also we will study in states of matter, first year. Law of multiple proportion, say Dalton's law of multiple proportion. This itself is Dalton's law of multiple proportion. And one more is Faraday's laws of electrolysis. All these experiments, they were in support of Dalton's theory. The first three will in first topic itself, right? So nothing to worry. So this was about Dalton's theory. So what happened next? The later studies, in particular physics, the later developments in physics, the later research in physics, right? It has proved that atom can be subdivided. The later studies in physics have shown that atoms can be subdivided. What is the meaning of this? If you can divide atom, that means there are smaller particles than atom. The smaller particles we call it as subatomic particles. Particles that are present in atom we call it as subatomic particles. But according to Dalton, atom is indestructible. You cannot break atom. Here there are smaller particles than atom within the atom. That means atom can be subdivided. The smaller particles, which we call them simply subatomic particles. After the discovery of these subatomic particles, some questions has arisen. So far, according to Dalton, matter, if I divide matter carefully into smaller particles, you should end with atom. But after the discovery of subatomic particles, the question has arisen, if there are subatomic particles, how they are arranged within the atom? Because we thought up to before the advancement of these studies, we thought that atom is the smallest particle. But after the advances in the physics, we came to know that there are smaller particles within the atom. So the question is, how the subatomic particles are arranged in the atom and why atom is stable? So the first question is, after the discovery of subatomic particles, we have to know how they are arranged within the atom and why atom is stable. That is the first question. The second one is, why atoms of same elements have same properties? Why atoms of different elements have different properties and different weights? That is the second question. Why some elements, atoms of same elements must have same properties? Why atoms of different elements must have different properties? The third one important point is, atoms, matter is composed of atoms. So matter has this tendency to absorb and emit radiation. What is this radiation and what are its characteristics? That means you have to answer the nature and characteristics of electromagnetic radiation absorbed by the matter composed of atoms. So these are some important points. Once again, after the discovery of subatomic particles, it has led to questioning of some important questions. It has raised some important questions. The first one is, how the subatomic particles are arranged within the atom and why atom is stable. Second one is, why atoms of same elements have same properties and atoms of different elements have different properties. And the third one is the nature and characteristics of electromagnetic radiation absorbed or emitted by the atoms present in a matter. So these are the questions which cannot be explained by Dalton's theory. Since Dalton's theory failed to explain, we require other theories. So next we will study the discovery of subatomic particles, nothing but how the electron is discovered, how the proton is discovered, how the neutron is discovered in the next class. ఎంతసేపు క్లోజ్ చేయలేదా చేసి